welcome to today's Power Hour, Smarter Benefits for Small Businesses. My name is Michaela Lavelle, and I am the Director of Events here at the Blue Springs Chamber. We are so happy to have you here with us today. Couple of quick reminders. We have a Power Hour session scheduled every month for 2026. They are always at noon, and they are always on the first Tuesday of the month via Zoom. We are also recording each session and adding them to our resource center. So if you miss one, you can go back and watch it later by logging into your member information center. Before we get started, please put your name and business or organization in the chat so that we know who is here with us today. We will be monitoring the chat for questions, and we will hold a Q&A at the end. Today's presenters are Eric Sporing with ECS Capital Investments, Dr. Vincent DeMarco with Keys Health Direct Primary Care, and Tara Lavelle with Bonfire Solutions. Eric Sporing has been working as a financial advisor with individuals, families, and businesses in the Kansas City area since 2010. After working for Edward Jones and U.S. Bank, he decided in 2016 to pursue an independent financial advisor practice and formed ECS Capital Investments and joined LPL Financial. Vincent DeMarco, DO, is a board-certified family physician and founder of Keys Health Direct Primary Care in Blue Springs, Missouri. He combines full-scope family medicine with a relationship-centered DPC model that prioritizes access, transparency, and preventative care. Dr. DeMarco is committed to restoring the patient-physician partnership through unhurried visits, wholesale pricing on labs and medications, and a practice built on stewardship and trust. Tara Lavelle is an experienced business manager with a demonstrated history of working in the insurance industry. She is skilled in customer service, personnel management, sales, and strategic planning. She has a bachelor's degree focused in human resources management and personnel administration from WGU, Missouri. She is a chamber champion, has served on the chamber's board of directors and many committees. We are so excited to have the three of you here with us today. Are you ready to take it away?
I think we're ready.
Yep. First of all, thank you everybody for joining us today. I'll give you just a quick intro before we let Eric take it away first here. So we all know when you're running a small business, every investment matters, and few investments have a greater impact than the one you make in your employees. Many business owners think employee benefits are simply another expense, but the reality is that a well-designed benefits package is a powerful business strategy. The right benefits help you attract qualified employees, retain your best talent, reduce turnover, and create a workplace where people feel valued and supported. Today's workforce is looking for more than just a paycheck. Employees want employers who care about their health, financial well-being, and work-life balance. Even small businesses with limited budgets have more options than ever to build meaningful, affordable benefit programs that make a lasting impression. In this Power Hour, we'll explore practical solutions designed specifically for small employers. Our presenters will discuss retirement planning options that help employees prepare for their future, direct primary care programs that can improve access to healthcare while controlling costs, and traditional medical and voluntary benefits that provide financial protection when life doesn't go as planned. So whether you're offering benefits for the first time or looking to strengthen your current package, you'll leave with actionable ideas that can improve your company culture, increase employee loyalty, and position your business as an employer of choice. Eric.
All right. Well, once again, welcome everybody. Thanks for that, Tara. That's actually, you kind of right on talking about how to retain employees. I'm going to share a little bit today about retirement planning and some options that you can put in place to help maybe retain some of those employees. Also, tax benefits, not just to the business, but to the owner as well, being able to build some wealth. So let's jump in here. Like I said, I'm going to talk about 401ks, simple IRAs, and SEP IRAs. Those are the three main investment vehicles that you can put in place for your business. And let me go to the next slide here. There we go. So today's objectives is understanding those three major retirement plans, comparing contribution limits in those three different plans, determining the best fit for your business, and then, just learning some planning opportunities. Um, why business owners need a retirement plan. Tara kind of hit on it when she was doing the introduction, to recruit and retain employees. A lot of employees anymore are looking for benefits. No different when it comes to like a retirement plan. If you're up against a recruit and the company that they interview with two companies, they have a retirement plan and you don't, probably 9 out of 10 times you're going to lose out because that company has a 401k plan. They're matching the employee's contributions. So it's a good, tool to help retain employees. As I said earlier, tax deductions. As an employer, your contributions to your employees can be can be a tax deduction. So that's another benefit, not only to retain your employees, but to have that tax deduction. As I said earlier, too, you can help the owner build wealth, inside the 401k plan. We'll get into it here a little bit about, excuse me, building wealth inside of a 401k plan. You can put in like profit sharing, things that you can add to it to help build wealth for the business owner, and then just increase employee satisfaction. Retirement plan here. So here's the three different types, right? 401k, simple, and SEP IRAs. The first one we're going to get into is the 401k. So what is a 401k? It's a vehicle where employees can do salary deferrals. They can do a certain percentage, or they can just do a flat dollar amount. And then the employer can, like I said, match the employee's salary deferral. Typically, you see a contribution or a match of like 3 to 4% of whatever the employee puts in. Typically, you'll match 100% up to the first 3 to 4% employee salary deferral. What's unique too is you can do traditional and Roth options. So what that means is when you see traditional, that means it's pre-tax money. So that means employees are putting money away before Uncle Sam has taxed those dollars. It's a great way for the employee to reduce their taxable income if they want to look at getting a little bit of a tax break. So take that tax hit up front, or you can look at the Roth option where you take the taxes out of their paycheck and then take out their contribution and put it into a Roth feature. So when they go to retire, then that money is not taxed versus the traditional. When they do retire and start taking that money out, Uncle Sam's going to be the first one in line with his hand out wanting his tax dollars. So those are two options that you have on a 401k. And it also has the highest flexibility. And I talked about that a little bit about you have profit sharing that you can add to a 401k. The simple and SEP, those aren't options. Flexibility, you can add in like a loan feature into a 401k where employees can, basically borrow against their 401k. So it just has more flexibility. 401k have higher contribution limits, employer match, and then, like I said earlier, profit sharing. And on the next slide here, we'll talk about the contributions. Employee deferrals, employees can put up to $24,500 into their 401k a year. They have a catch-up provision. If you're 50 to 59, there's an $8,000 catch-up provision, so you can do 8,000 plus the 24,500. And if you're in that 60 to 63 age range, then you can do an additional $11,250 on top of the 24,500. Now, 401k costs, because there are more options, more flexibility, there is more expense involved in a 401k plan. So we have to have what's called a TPA, a third-party administrator, manage that 401k on the backside for paperwork, and that can range anywhere from $1,500 to $1,800 a year to manage that that third-party administrator. And the reason why they're filing what's called a 5,500, we don't need to go into that, but they're doing things like that, make sure the plan is staying, in guidance, within the guidance, because the DOL, Department of Labor, is where that 5500 gets filed. They can fine you if you don't keep the 5500 filed and stay within the guidelines. You can be fined. I know it sounds scary, but that's what they're there to do. And then there's the cost of the 401k plan itself, which could be, another 450 to, $1,500 a year. So 401ks can be expensive. Now, the IRS right now does have some tax credits out there available to businesses that open up a brand new 401k plan. There are tax credits within the first 5 years that you get to help offset some of those costs. Let's go to a simple IRA. A 401k is good for anybody. There's a solo 401k, just like myself. I can have just a 401k just in my name, or you can have hundreds to thousands of employees on a 401k plan. A simple IRA, 100 or fewer, is kind of that sweet spot. Easy administration and lower cost. Easy administration, we don't have to have that TPA to monitor it. Lower cost is on a simple IRA. Once again, we don't have that 401k platform like a T. Rowe Price or American Funds like that we're hosting that on, so it's a lower cost. Simple IRA benefits, quick to establish. One thing I didn't say about the 401k, it takes about 45 to 60 days for a brand new plan to come online. So it takes a little bit of time to build that up. These are very quick to establish. We can do them in a couple of days. Immediate vesting just means all the funds that go in are immediately vested. I didn't say it on the profit sharing side on the 401k. The owner can put a vesting schedule of 1 to 5 years, right? 1 year you get X, year 5 you're fully vested. Simple, you're automatically invested. And then on a simple IRA, employee contributions, I'll go into that here. Here's the contribution limits. So you can see that it's a little bit lower than a 401k. You can only put $17,000 in if you're an employee. You still have those catch-up provisions, $4,000 and $5,250 if you're in those age ranges. Now, the one thing about a simple IRA than a 401k. On a 401k, I said, there was a contribution limit, or I'm sorry, a match limit that the owner can do. Now, you don't have to do a match on a 401k. You can do zero. But on a simple IRA, you have to do a 3% contribution. Now, the IRS does allow you to bring that down, but you can never have it lower than 3% 2 out of 5 consecutive years. So you can do it 2 out of 5 years lower than 3. You can never go lower than 1. So long story short, 3% is kind of that sweet spot you got to stay at. Now let's go into the SEP IRA real quick. This is good for just if you're business for self, you're just you have a painting business. Best thing maybe is just open a SEP IRA. Easy paperwork, once again, something you can open within a day. And then as you can see there, it's great for self-employed people. This one has a little bit higher contribution limits. You can do up to 25% of your compensation. So that's your AGI, adjusted gross income. The maximum contribution you can do is $72,000 a year. So roughly you've got to do just under $300,000 to max this out after your adjusted gross income. This is all pre-tax dollars. There is not a Roth feature. On the simple, they do have Roth features on it. I didn't bring that up. So this is kind of just like I said, just for one person. You got to be careful with SEP IRAs. I actually had a client that I picked up because he got bad advice in a SEP IRA. Single business owner. Then he went out and hired employees. He was doing a SEP before he hired those employees. If you have a SEP IRA and you hire employees, you have to give them exactly what you're giving yourself. So if you're like by yourself and you're like, hey, I'm going to do 10% of my salary into a SEP IRA, guess what? You have to do for every single employee 10%. And there's no Well, they didn't sign up. No, it's automatic. They get 10%. So be careful when you have a SEP IRA. Make sure that you know um, you're aware of what happens if you hire employees. But that's kind of all I had with the kind of retirement side of it. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. If you currently have a 401k and you've got some questions about it, or or simple IRA, SEP IRA, I'd be glad to reach out and help you with anything you may have. But that's all I've got, guys. Tara, you're muted.
I figured that out. I was just going to thank you. That was great
Yeah.
information. And I think we can move on to Dr. DeMarco.
Okay. So like I said, I'm Dr. Vincent DeMarco. I'm a family practice doctor, and my part of this is just kind of teaching a little bit about direct primary care and how it fits into a smart benefits strategy. Some of the stuff that I'll go through, I'm going to touch on very lightly because Tara's going to take the lead on some of the more insurance-based stuff, but I did touch on it a little bit. So first question is, what is direct primary care? Direct primary care is a membership-based model where patients and also employers, many times, pay a simple monthly fee for unlimited access. The big thing is it allows me time to spend with my patients and allows me to actually get to know my patients and really help them along their healthcare journey. As part of direct primary care, patients can text, they can email directly, they can call me directly. Our pricing is transparent, so they know what they're paying. We also offer most primary direct primary care offer medications in office. They offer the ability to do labs in office at huge discounts, and just more than important than anything, peace of mind for patients, knowing that they have access to their physician. So when we talk about this, one of the things that we look at is, what do small businesses actually want when it comes to healthcare type of things? Obviously, we've already talked about retaining employees, attracting employees. We also want to make sure that it's affordable and predictable, not having changing numbers every single month or every single year. And then the ability for employees to stay healthy, stay productive, not missing work near as much, which is one of the things that we try to work with our employees, patients that we have. And then also just not having to worry about navigating the healthcare land landfill and landslide and whatever you want to call it, because it can be really, really confusing. So where does direct primary care fit? Business owners a lot of times are saying, hey, should I offer insurance? Are there affordable options? And how do I keep my employees healthy so they're not calling in all the time? So these are the parts that I'm going to skip over a little bit or just barely touch on it, because Tara's going to do a whole presentation part of this. So traditional group health insurance, provides that typical what we think about healthcare option when we're talking about employers giving a benefit to employees. But some of the challenges recently have been rising premiums, higher deductibles, limited primary care access. I was in the system where I had 3,100 patients previously, and I couldn't get my patients in for 3 to 4 months. And it doesn't always actually mean care when we're talking about health insurance. I think I skipped a few. HRAs are another option that employers can reimburse employees for their medical expenses. And I've got a typo there, sorry. And once again, I'm going to skip over this because this is not a big part of what I'm talking about. So healthcare system right now is just not built around patients. It's about more numbers than anything. My previous job, my first appointment for a non-urgent issue was anywhere from 3 to 4 months away. And a lot of times it's not unusual to see that it's hey, our first appointment's in 6 weeks. And we get 15 minutes with a patient in those kind of settings, that insurance-based corporate medicine setting. In my last practice, I couldn't get patients in for urgent care. I had spots available, but the administration always told patients or told the front desk staff, fill those spots if they're not filled within 3 days. So we couldn't actually get our urgent cares in when they actually needed to be seen. A lot of times employers are seeing their employees work, having to leave work for half a day just for a regular appointment. And that doesn't include the urgent issues when they're sick, things like that, not being able to get in, or having to go to an urgent care and not knowing how much that's going to cost. And so not necessarily even getting in to be seen. And truthfully, traditional primary care does reward volume. My last practice, 3,000 patients. I'd see 22 patients a day. I'd have 10 to 15 minutes with each one. And it's based off of productivity. How many times or how much is each visit worth? And they've standardized this whole thing. It wasn't about, hey, are we taking really good care of our patients? With direct primary care, my job is to make sure my patients stay healthy. My job is to make sure patients can actually get into an appointment. If they have an urgent issue, they can actually be seen. For me, financial wise, I want to make sure that my patients remain members. So there is a true service aspect of this. I am here to take care of people. And if I'm not, they're going to let me know by leaving my practice. Ultimately, direct primary care maximizes relationships. That's what we're working for. So for patients, what we see is the traditional insurance-based practice. Typically, a lot of patients have to wait weeks, if not months, to get in. They get 10 to 15-minute visits. They have copays. Outside of office hours, our general response was you need an appointment, or go to urgent care, go to the ER. And if I wasn't able to see a patient, you might get to see someone else in the office. If not, you're going to urgent care type of thing. With direct primary care, we try to flip those narratives where we can get our patients in for same day urgent cares. We can spend more time with our patients, 30 to 60-minute visits. No copays every single time you have to come in. Patients can actually access me after hours if they have an urgent issue. Because I'm the only doc, it's a continuity. In most direct primary cares, you deal with your own doctor. And ultimately, the patient and the physician decide on what kind of care we need, as opposed to insurance saying, no, you don't qualify for this, you don't qualify for that. Not that we don't deal with insurance and have to take that into account, but the patient and doctor actually have that time to discuss things. How direct primary care can actually help employers is reducing employee downtime. If a patient or an employee is sick and they can actually get in to see their doctor, many times they're going to get better faster and get back to work faster. There's improved access to healthcare for the employees, improved employee satisfaction. And if patients or employees and patients are healthier, they can be more productive and improve the productivity of the business itself. With direct primary care, we save time, we save money, and we save a lot of stress, honestly. Between time is with same day urgent care appointments, you walk in, you get seen, you're not waiting for an hour, you don't know how long it's going to take to see the doctor. Patients can actually text and get answers instead of having to step away from work or using their breaks just to go and call the doctor's office. We can take care of things a lot faster, a lot easier. In terms of money, one, knowing what you're paying every month, but we also have wholesale medications. We've got discounted labs. My set of labs is about 90% less expensive than what the insurance price is typically. No copays, fewer urgent care visits because we can actually get our patients in. So when I say urgent care, meaning an actual urgent care building. And then stress, we can just take better care of our patients. We can address things before they become major issues. And that becomes a big aspect of taking good care of people. It's becoming much more of a common thing to see employers teaming up with direct primary care. Mark Cuban just gave an entire hour-long interview with a direct primary care doctor, Dr. Shane Purcell, about direct primary care and how that can benefit employers. And ultimately, you're looking to help your employees out. And direct primary care improves employee satisfaction, retention, recruitment, productivity, it gives some predictable healthcare costs and decreased downtime. So ultimately, healthy employees create healthier businesses. Um, and so with direct primary care, we actually deliver healthcare, but by itself, direct primary care can't cover absolutely everything. While I can manage 80 to 90% of most people's day-to-day medical issues, you still have car accidents, you still have things like cancer treatments, hospitalizations, surgeries, and that's not included in the direct primary care aspect. So you have to many times team it up with some kind of a traditional insurance, catastrophic insurance, or some kind of a health share coverage to make sure that those major medical events are also covered in those situations. Ultimately, with direct primary care, you're not paying for more health care, you're paying for better access. And so with direct primary care, we can actually get you in. We look at what's the best treatment for you as opposed to does insurance cover that? And instead of only being able to access your doc during business hours, it's a text me, call me if you have an issue that we need to get taken care of. And when I get to spend more time with patients, I don't have to make another appointment for patients in 2 months, 3 months, because you've got more than one issue that we're trying to address. And if I spend an hour with a patient and I still have more things that we need to go over, we schedule them for another appointment in a week, maybe the next day sometimes. So we make sure that we're actually getting to the root of all the different issues. Thank you very much. And I know Tara's going to go through a lot more of the information on different insurance plans.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. DeMarco. So we're going to talk just a little bit about making a case for employee benefits. So probably what I hear most often is we don't have employee benefits and it's because they are too expensive, right? So we're just going to kind of talk through what makes those benefits worth the cost. First and foremost, and especially for small business owners, the talent squeeze is real. So workers more than ever are changing jobs. We used to kind of go to work and plan to retire in one place. That is no longer how people view work. And so there is a lot of changing and moving and growing. And what we're finding is that pay alone won't win. So in your talent pool, they are looking at the whole package, not just the paycheck. And benefits are really how small employers can level the field. One of the hidden costs in not offering benefits is the cost of turnover. So turnover definitely drains the bottom line. So you'll spend 33% of an employee's annual salary just to replace them with someone who's often not as apt at their position than the person you lost. Turnover costs money. Every time that position turns over, it costs you more to replace them. Good benefits are becoming a reason for people to stay. So for employers with benefits, those employees are 87% less likely to leave than from a company that has employers. Companies are reporting better retention, satisfaction, and performance once they either add or expand benefits. They're designed to help you win that talent race, right? So 49% of jobs seekers name better benefits as a top reason to change jobs. So that is what left because there was not a 401k, found somebody with a retirement plan. I see all the time, whether it's on Facebook boards, just in regular communication. Boy, I wish I need a new job. I need something with benefits. That term is a big term and it means a lot of things. And benefits mean something different to everyone. But the truth is, even adding a small benefit package of any kind can really help you win big when it comes to attracting and retaining talent. Benefits typically pay you back in performance. So employees who feel supported, they're more focused, they bring more energy, they are more loyal. They're going to use fewer sick days. You get greater productivity. There are all sorts of reasons to reward your employees with benefits. Well, let's talk about what employees actually want. So the number one benefit when an employee is seeking benefits is going to be health insurance. There are a million different ways to accomplish health insurance. Dr. DeMarco talked about direct primary care, which solves a lot of problems that currently exist in the traditional healthcare system. We have limited access to care. So I don't know if you've tried to call your doctor lately, but if you aren't using Dr. DeMarco, you were probably told it will be weeks to months before they can get you in. And so you were forced to go to urgent care that either has a higher copay than seeing your primary care physician, or depending on your plan, maybe that didn't have a copay and hit straight to deductible. So the traditional health insurance plans are beneficial. They are a great thing to have, but there's often a partnership we can do with maybe direct primary care and higher deductible to kind of make that make the most sense. When it comes to a traditional health plan, I cannot tell you what that will cost you. I wish I could, but that varies. It varies by your workforce. Those plans are underwritten, so it takes into consideration the overall health of your group, spits out a number. The broker's job, not my job, is to sort through all of the carriers, all of the plans, know what your budget is, and find something that hits your budget and is valuable to your employees. Along with health insurance, a lot of times people assume, right, dental, vision, life, those are some pretty standardized benefits that employers offer. Sometimes they contribute to those plans, meaning they pay part of the premium. Sometimes they don't, may not have to on dental and vision. And then there's an entire slew of what we would call voluntary benefits. Voluntary benefits are a great way for an employer to beef up their employee benefit package at no cost to the employer. So these are benefits like hospital indemnity, accident plans. Sometimes they can be disability plans or critical illness, cancer plans. These plans are designed for the employees to pay for, and then in return, pays the employee directly in the event that they have a triggering event. So we'll use an accident plan as an example. An employee who enrolls in an accident plan who trips over a curb and breaks an ankle, there is a payout essentially for that broken ankle. So they file the claim with their accident provider. And rather than that accident plan paying the doctor or the hospital, it pays directly to the employee. So that can help the employee pay for, maybe it's deductible, maybe it's copay. I don't know, maybe it's a Nintendo Switch. I don't know how you spend your money. But the point is it pays you, not the carrier, not the hospital. That's kind of just health insurance in a nutshell. When we're talking about small businesses, it has been hard in the past to find benefit plans for small businesses. There is more access and more options than there have ever been. Right now, with as few as 2 people on a plan, you can have an employee benefit plan. So whether you've got 2 or 200 people, there is certainly a carrier and a product out there for you that will not only fit your need, but also fit your budget. Coming in closely next to health insurance is a retirement plan. So yes, your employees want a retirement plan. They're also concerned with paid time off. There is a really big focus right now on work-life balance. That is a generational shift from what we have seen in the past. So making sure that your vacation and PTO policies are up to date can also help you attract and retain talent. And then flexibility. That's also something that is new. I never dreamed there would be a day where I could work from home and only show up at the office 2 days a week. But you know what? Here I am. I do. I can work from home. I can work from the office. I can work from my phone. So flexibility is also something that employees are looking for. There are a lot of small business owners who just flat out do not offer benefits still to this day. 94% of firms with 50 and over employers or employees do, and that's because legally they have to. Otherwise, they pay a fine, right? But for employers with less than 50, there is no rule. However, you're constantly competing for the same talent as those companies that are offering the benefits. It really could set you apart when you're trying to recruit top talent. This is again, right? Retention always beats replacement. So it's much cheaper to keep someone than it is to try to replace them. And then getting started. So an actionable step, right? How on earth do we even know how to start? Where do we start? Well, first and foremost, you've got to have interest. It doesn't do you any darn good to start an employee benefit package if your employees don't care. There are going to be employee groups out there that maybe everybody's covered by a spouse, or maybe everybody's under 26 and still on their parents' plan. There just may not be a need. But first thing I would do, survey your group. Is it something they would be interested in? And then we start with health insurance. I think that's the biggest fish to fry, really, when it comes to an employee benefit package. And that's a simple process. For groups with at least 5 people enrolling, it can be as simple as getting names, dates of birth, gender, and zip code. Underwriting now is done with artificial intelligence, as is just about everything else. And by simply matching names, birth dates, and prescription history, underwriting can be done in less than 24 hours for groups with at least 5 people. And we have a rate that's ready to go that is guaranteed for a year. So it's much easier to at least access the information than it used to be. Once you've started that health, you've decided on a plan, right? Reach out to Eric. It's really time to talk about, is a retirement plan something we need? As I'm talking about you with health, I'll be talking to you about maybe we do a high deductible plan and bring in Dr. DeMarco, because he and I pair really, really well together, considering really the landscape of insurance in general. He talked about how deductibles continue to increase in order to save costs. Having a guy like Dr. DeMarco in your back pocket, you can literally call when you're sick, would be a huge benefit. And then just reviewing every year, the policies are going to change, the plans are going to change, your workforce is going to change. So when we talk about benefits, it's never a set it and forget it. It's a constant review to possibly grow additional benefits or change plan structure. There's really a lot that can be done in annual renewals. Bottom line is that benefits are investment, okay? They're not a cost. Do they cost? Yes, they do. But they really are an investment in your team and your growth. So they cut turnover, attract talent. We know that employees value their health, retirement, time off, and flexibility the most. There are tax credits that make the benefits more affordable than ever. And my best advice is just to start small, start now. That may not mean you need a full benefits package. It just may mean you need to talk to Dr. DeMarco to give everyone a doctor to see and start there. That investment is really, really minimal. It may mean that you want to start with retirement and talk to Eric. But my challenge to you as a business owner is to at least evaluate your options and invest in your employees.